I never really wanted to be a business person. I never wanted to be a shop owner, but I wanted to be a tattooer so bad that I was like, well, this is what I have to do. My name is John Garancheski. I am the owner and an artist here at Tattooed Heart Studios in Hanover, Maryland. I've been tattooing since 2001. I have owned the studio since 2005. It was hard for me at first to manage other people, especially as you start growing a studio. You start having conflicting opinions on how things should be done. It starts at the top. The person managing the studio kind of sets the expectations, but you have people that come in and they challenge that. As a business owner, I'm always open to reasonable feedback. Sometimes somebody's come in and been like, hey, have you ever thought about doing it like this? And I'm like, that's a really good idea. We've definitely grown, from me being open-minded and being diplomatic within the studio, but it hasn't been without those times where it's like, hey, I hear you, but also no, we're not doing it that way. I always like to see the best in people, and I always like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt. You can do that for a little while, and that's okay, and that's like trying to help people grow. Then at some point, the things that are going wrong it's my fault now because I've let it happen for too long and I haven't addressed it properly. I've had to fire people that I had become friends with. That was really hard to sit down and be like, you have to go. And that wasn't without, warnings and hard talks that led up to that. Nothing prepared me for that. The business isn't about the friendship, if it's affecting the client's experience, if it's becoming a liability for the studio, then it can't happen. It's on paper, it seems so clean cut. You set rules, people come in, they do their job, they go home, but it's never like that. So much more that comes with it. And there's definitely been some sleepless nights. Am I making the right decision? Should I change this? Am I gonna lose this person? What do I need to do to make this better? You just wanna make everything better. Can't we all just be happy? Can't we all just look around and be like, we're here doing our dream job, what is the big problem? But it's never as simple as that. There's a handful of artists that I can think of that came through the studio and built a clientele, left on great terms, went off, they're doing their own thing, and I couldn't be happier for them. There's definitely really good ways to move through a tattoo studio, do things on the right terms, leave on the right terms. Looking back to when I first started tattooing, I was just so content to be tattooing and to have finally kind of found my thing. But I just never felt at home in the studio that I was working in. They don't value the same things I value. They're doing things that I don't agree with. I feel like they're taking advantage of clients. And so that's when my gears started turning. And then it was just kind of figuring out, okay, what do I need to do to open up a business? It was definitely a process, finding a place to get a lease. I was 23. I was basically broke. In the fall of 2005, I finally found a place. We did the construction ourselves. It was a hustle. Tattoo all day long, and I would go out into the community and we would go to bars and restaurants. I was so nervous, but I was like, I have to get out and meet people. I have to tell people we're here. So that's really how we kind of built it up, was getting out there. And I say we, but really it was me. But I put everything that I had into it. I was there for 10 years. And then we moved into this space here, been here since 2015. When I opened, I wasn't actively looking for artists. I was really just let me do what I can. If I hustle, I can keep the shop open myself. I still had a lot of learning that I wanted to do. I wanted my studio to be known as a friendly place where people could come. They walk in, it's clean, it's organized, and all we do is custom stuff. I guess kind of word started getting out in the community. Slowly over the years, kind of artists trickled through. Or maybe they were not happy with where they were at. And then just making friends in the industry, all those connections come back and people are like, oh, I've heard he's a good guy to work for, There's definitely a big difference between working with artists as a peer and working as a business owner. I feel like I'm a pretty approachable guy, and that's how I try to maintain my relationship with my artists. But even still being approachable and open and willing to change and listening to feedback, you still will be the last person to know sometimes when there's something that needs to be changed. Everybody in the studio might know that there's a problem, but I haven't heard about it yet. And I'm the one who can fix it. We like to keep a pretty even playing field in here. If I get something cool to use, I'm buying it for everybody in the shop. I like everybody to like have cool stuff and like feel like they're valued. Owning a tattoo shop throughout the years has been incredibly rewarding. I've learned so much. I feel honored to have been able to teach people how to tattoo and focus on like just building them up as artists, watching them grow and kind of seeing them flourish. And then like seeing the progression over the years. Like that's the neat part about being in the industry and kind of staying connected to it in a positive way. Hands down, the number one thing that's been, you know, my favorite part of being a business owner is not only servicing, you know, tattoo clients, but being in the business of building people and helping them grow inside of the studio. I'm always learning, always open, and I'm happy to be here still, you know, after all these years.